And now, Mr. Serling.
You've probably run across these penny machines that tell your fortune. You put a penny in, and out comes a card. Only this particular machine, which you'll see next week, is a little bit unique in that the fortunes that it tells happen to come true. A most intriguing tale called The Nick of Time by Mr. Richard Matheson, and you're invited to partake of it. Thank you and good night.
Hello. My wife got me this 1950s napkin holder. It's got a coin-op fortune teller. You put a penny in right there and you pull this handle down and it's supposed to spit your fortune out right here. Mine is really sluggish and I couldn't find, I see a lot of pictures of these things on the web just in the for sale ads, but not many pictures of the insides and how you take them apart and how to service them. So I thought I would throw together a video. Just a quick overview. The coin slot is right there. Once you put your penny in, you pull this handle down, and there's a stack of fortunes on the inside, little cards. I'll show you those in a second. On either side, it has a napkin holder. Kind of cool. I don't know if I can get this size napkin anymore. I'm gonna have to go visit a couple of diners downtown, see if I can find some. And then on the back, there's a menu holder. So it's kind of a cool thing. I love this kind of stuff. It's hard to find a manufacture date. Every ad that I see just says that they were made in the 50s. So that's, I don't know exactly what year, but it is about 75 years old. In good shape for its age, I think. So I'm gonna start taking it apart. I'm gonna switch over to a tripod here so that I have both hands free. And there's also, I want to mention there was a Twilight Zone episode that focused on these things. I'll see if I can download part of it and maybe throw it in this video.
Well, what have we got here? The Mystic Seer.
The what? Well, let's try it, shall we?
What'll we ask it?
I don't know.
Am I gonna be promoted, for Pete's sake? It has been decided in your favor.
Ah, you see, your worries are over.
Okay, so to get started, if I turn the key, this front panel comes off. I'm just going to set that aside. And then you can take this whole mechanism out just by sliding it out. Now we are left with the guts. In my case, I've got this little piece of plastic. I think someone added this just to retain these two metal plates. So this metal piece, this plastic piece is probably not on others, but this one, this top one, well, there's two. This one is to weigh down the fortunes underneath so that there'll be some friction when the rubber pad goes to pull the fortune forward. This plate here that I'm holding, the idea here is that once it's installed, if someone were to turn the napkin holder upside down, all the fortunes wouldn't fall off and rattle around on the inside. So that's how that works. I'm going to take both of those off. This metal weight. And here are some of the fortunes. Now these are the original fortunes from the 50s. I have a bunch of them. I only have a few in here because I was testing it. They are printed on both sides. So yeah, you can pause and try to read that if you want to. There are, I don't know how many different ones there are. But then we're left with the guts. Now, in my case, here's where the way that this works is here's the arm that you pull down, it doesn't engage anything unless there's a penny inside. If I put a penny inside, then this little arm right here, you see that moves? That arm, the penny is going to engage. There's a nub right here. I don't know if you can see it where the screwdriver tip is. This nub pushes down on the penny, and then the other side of the penny pushes down on this little arm here. So both of those have to be free moving. In my case, I fixed one of the problems, but the problem that I have now, I thought I had a penny here. Here we go. The problem that I have now is if I put the penny in, you see it right there? It's very hard to push that mechanism down. And I've already disassembled this thing, and I cleaned off the old grease and I put new grease on, but it's still super hard. And now my theory is that these springs, there's 2 springs in my case. I've seen them with only one. I did find one picture on the web with only one, but I think it's supposed to have 2. It has this one, this spring right here, catches with the other end of this little arm. So when you depress this arm, this is the spring that pops the arm back up. The other spring is only, it's connected to this metal plate here, is what moves back and forth. Now it moves freely, so I don't think it's a lubricant issue. I think there's just, if you look at this spring, I think somebody replaced this spring with one that's thicker and more resistant. So what I have here is a new spring that's much thinner and less resistant. So I was going to try to install that. So you will see my success or failure. But the point behind this video was to, when I got it apart the first time, it took me a while to get it back together because I took some pictures, but I wished there were more, there was more info on the web. So, yeah, so hopefully this helps somebody. So to take it apart, you really only need a screwdriver and then to hold the side of this bolt. Once I remove this screw and that nut, this metal plate with the 2 springs is going to slide out the front. This, here, let me see if I can show you. This metal plate, see how it catches on that screw? Once I remove that screw, the metal plate will slide all the way out. So let's do that. There's also a compression washer on the other side, so careful. You know, this video is for, you know, your results may vary as always. So do this at your own risk. But if you do it, be aware that there is a compression washer on that other side, so try to catch it when you take that nut off. So here we go. Now watch me drop it. No, I got it. Okay. So those are off. Now, I should be able to depress this just a little and then pull that screw out. I hope I don't drop that. But I am doing this one-handed and I'm almost sure that I will drop it. Now, look at that. Now, as I remove this plate, you'll see a couple things. You'll see this loses tension. This little arm here, what happens is this plate slides back. The rubber on this arm catches the paper fortune, and then when it comes back forward, the friction will pull that paper forward and spit it out the front. So we've got 2 springs to worry about. This one on the left is pretty well attached to this arm. This one on the right, though, will fall off. So, and I'll show you where that goes. In my case, the spring on the left, can you see that? There's a little slot that catches the wire from the spring. And on the right, it's just, there's no slot or anything. It just catches over the edge of this metal. So I'm gonna carefully remove, I'm actually gonna, I don't wanna lose this, so I'm gonna lock onto it here. So there. And by the way, this, when you put it back together, this has to go point toward the front, not the back. Now you can see this spring on the right will just unlatch. So when you put it back together, this circle here catches right here, and then the other side the other side right here just latches onto this metal. So in my case, here's the old spring. Here's, if you look at this spring right here, look how thick that is. It puts up a lot of resistance, and I think that's my problem. The one in my hand is what I want to try replacing it with. So it's going to take me a minute to remove this one. So I'm going to shut off the video for a minute and do that. Okay, I sort of got what I was going for. There's my new spring. I attached it to the hole right there. The other thing that I need to point out is when you put this back in, first of all, this wants to go forward, right? You can't just drop it in. I made that mistake a few times myself. You have to make sure that the mechanism here, this is going to be tough to demonstrate, but you see this little arm? I'll see if I can get it on the camera. Do you see this little arm in the slot? Geez, that's tough. See that arm? Right there. That arm has to be all the way up when you insert that that metal tray. If you leave it like this, then your coin is not going to engage on it, and it won't work. So basically, looking at it from the side, you want it all the way up here. So to do that, I think I'm gonna have to turn it upside down. Like that. Let's see if that works. So I have two things that I want to do here. This spring has to catch on this little notch, and then my second spring, which is right here, is just going to catch on the front. Oh, I need to notch off one of these springs, one side of this spring. So I'm going to turn it off for a second while I do that. Okay, we're back. I just wanted to open up one side of that spring so that I can catch it. All right, let's see if I can do this successfully. Let me start by just inserting it partway, and then I'll get my springs situated. So this spring, here, let me see if I can get a better view. Oops. The camera's not cooperating. This spring will catch right on here. And this other spring catches right in this V. So let's push that in part way. there's one, and there's two. Now, I can already tell that that's not strong enough to pull my mechanism forward properly. It's too loose. So what I'm gonna do, I replaced both springs. I'm gonna put this one back on here. I think I'll do that with the video running. So I want this spring, the original one, back on. Let me go get my other little pliers. You kind of need 4 hands to do this. Okay, there's one. And there's the other. I think I got it. So let's flip it over. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, see, now that is strong enough to pull the mechanism back forward. And that little spring that I replaced this one with is still strong enough. I don't know if that's going to be strong enough. I don't know if it's going to have enough force to pull that fortune. I guess I'll try it and see. If it doesn't, I just need to go buy a stronger spring. But I can tell, I think that this is going to I think it's going to fix the problem that it's so hard to pull that mechanism back. So I'm going to put my screw back in and try not to drop it. And my compression washer. Then the nut. See that? I'm not sure if that's going to work or not. But let's try the mechanism with a penny. That's much better. So, I may have to finagle. I'll either increase the tension on this spring by just pulling it forward and snipping some off, or I'll have to get a new spring. But I can tell already that I think this spring that was originally on there, somebody must have replaced it with one that was too thick. So I'm going to button it back up, and I'm going to try it and see if it works. Okay, so I increased the tension on this spring that I put in. You can see it's kind of mangled because I stretched it forward and bent it over. But now I seem to have okay tension on this. This, again, is the finger that rubs against the card and pushes it forward. I'll have to see if it's enough to move the card forward, but you can see now it's much easier. So I'm gonna put some fortunes on there. Let's see if it spits one out. And then I got the weight. It holds them down. And then this little gizmo that prevents them from spilling all over if you turn it upside down to get your penny back. And then I'm not gonna put this little plastic dealie on yet, but let's see if it spits out a fortune. So the bottom line is, if it does spit out a fortune, then I have enough tension on this mangled spring. If it doesn't, I'll either increase that tension or I'll have to get a new spring. We'll see. But here we go. Nope, it didn't. But you can see how the mechanism works. You just need a little more friction. There's actually two things I can do. One is increase the tension on that spring. The other is I'd like to try to put a new piece of rubber here. This, I believe, this is no good. That's probably original. It's super dry and it's not going to grab the card. So maybe I will see if I can put a rubber band on there or something. Okay, I'm back. So what I did is I took this old rubber boot that used to be right there, is basically hard plastic now. What I did is I took a pinball playfield, it's a post rubber, and I stretched it over there. That is very rubbery, and I think it'll grip the card better. So let's try this again. Get my stack of fortunes. You gotta line them up. You gotta line them up because this metal rod has to line up with the hole. So just drop those on, and I'll put my weight on to hold down the stack, and my little dealie that protects you from people turning it upside down. And let's see if that makes a difference. Oh, look at that. That is just what I wanted it to do. So yeah. So bottom line is, let's see, did it just give me one? Yeah. The 10 of spades. There, maybe you can pause that and read it if you want. That's from the 50s. So I did three things. I cleaned the old grease off the sides of that metal sliding plate, cleaned off the old grease, put on some new grease. In my case, I don't think a lot of them are going to be like this, but this spring was just causing too much tension, and it made it almost impossible to pull that handle down. So I replaced that with one like this that is very stretchy. In fact, it was too stretchy. I had to cinch it up down here. I'll probably snip that off. And then I replaced that rubber boot, and now it seems to work. I wouldn't be surprised though if I have to trim that rubber because it's a lot thicker than the original, and it has to be able to slide through there. I'm gonna put it back together to see if it works. I'm gonna put my old Fortune, the one that I already got, I'm gonna put it back on the bottom because the little hole was already ripped. And I don't want to rip another one if I don't have to. Okay, now this whole thing slides back in here like that. And then the front panel goes on and we lock it. So here goes. Hopefully we see a Fortune shoot out the front. Look at that. It works good now. I hope this helps someone. I wished that I had this information when I was taking this thing apart the first time, so hopefully you all can benefit from this. Thanks a lot for watching.